annual Montgomery Photo Contest Awards Ceremony. We are here live at Montgomery City Hall for the very first time, and hopefully the last time. We are here to celebrate your visual works of art. We really appreciate seeing your videos and telling your stories. As they say, a photo tells 1,000 words, and we appreciate the time and talent you put into your entries. We also enjoy seeing the diversity of ages participating in the contest. We all need to do better as a city, bringing together all ages, especially our school-aged children, to this event. And we've done that this year. I'm Chris Dubois, mayor of this incredible community we call Montgomery. I'd like to start with a few acknowledgments. First, to the Montgomery Arts Commission for their time and energy to put this fantastic, long-running photo competition together. It takes a lot of time and effort, and we greatly appreciate the commission. Next, I'd like to thank our judges. Our longtime judge, Liz DeFure. And as I always say, I love saying that name, Liz. I really do. Next up is Emily Bauman. I believe her third year in judging. We have a new judge this year, Michael Sanders. Thanks to all three of you for taking the difficult task of judging these incredible photos. Next, I would like to thank our City of Montgomery staff for their time and energy. Here today, although you won't see them from behind the scenes, but Julie Michon and Sarah Finn do an incredible job ensuring that everything you see goes off without a hitch. We're excited today to see we had 237 photos entered into our contest this year. And something really interesting for this year is the second time that the number of student photos exceeded the number of adult photos. Again, getting our youth involved in this contest was a great effort on all fronts. Speaking of students, we had 52 students from 12 schools from around the area that entered the contest. Again, it's not just a City of Montgomery event, it's a community event from all around the region that participate. Our very own Sycamore schools did have the most entries, followed by, believe it or not, Roger Bacon High School, who fared well this year. Before we move on, I want to say a few words about the loss we had this past year. On January 2nd, longtime council member and 6-year mayor, Jerry Harbison, passed away suddenly. She was the everlasting cheerleader for the City of Montgomery and for the Arts Commission, as well as this photo contest. I'm glad to see that the Arts Commission has made the decision to name one of the awards after Jerry, so that her legacy lives on for the city for years to come. She will never be forgotten. Again, thanks again for joining us for this longest running photography contest in the Cincinnati area. And now I'd like to pass it off to the chair of the Arts Commission, Mr. Greg Leader. Gregory?
Thank you, Mayor Dubois, for your support of this event. And again, to the City of Montgomery for always thinking, even during a pandemic year, of how can we run our amazing events for the city and for our community beyond. And when I say beyond, I am so excited that this year's photo contest had so many people from across the region, including a 4th grader from Illinois who entered her photo this year. We're so excited about our student entries from all across the region. And that we were able to have a live exhibition where more than 100 people came out and saw these incredible works of art yesterday in our city. A couple of words for our entrance today. First, an amazing, amazing showing. I know our judges are so impressed, and they'll tell you a little bit about that overall entry impression that was made by them. The second thing I'd like to say is all photos may be picked up here as of Tuesday morning at City Hall, so feel free to come by and pick them up. I would also like to say to all the participants who maybe could be a winner today, we do have our chat available, and one of the things that we love about our judging so much is the conversation that goes on between the judges, where they get to find out more about the great photos that were taken. So if you are announced as a winner, please do type in the chat. Let us know that you're here so that we can unmute you and allow you to speak during that event. I did also wanted to say to our lucky winners that checks will be mailed out to you, so you don't have to worry about coming here to receive them. We will be mailing checks out to you. So now the moment that you're all excited for, and I'm excited for, the judging. So first, before I hand it on over to our judges, I have one question for our judges, and I'm going to start with Liz. Liz, this obviously was kind of a crazy and unprecedented year. We had the pandemic, racial tensions, political tensions, And I'm curious in our student and adult entries, whether you saw any differences in past years judging. So now Liz, Dubois.
Hello, everyone. Liz Dubois. I'm a photographer with the Cincinnati Enquirer. I lose track, but I think I'm in my 38th year at the Enquirer. And yeah, this year has been, this year was hard. We went from focusing on COVID coverage to Black Lives Matter. Literally in between that, my mom passed away. So it was hard. And I think that, to keep on challenging yourself and be able to go out there every day when there's so much bad stuff happening is difficult. We did not see, we were all really surprised we did not see some COVID related photos, either in the student or adults. I think we saw one masked photo, but that's, it was, everyone was dealing with things in their own way. I will say that even when we're stuck in the houses, in our homes, there are photos to be had. And a former photographer from a long time ago, his name is Kevin Miyazaki. He did this self-assigned series called Within Reach, and you can Google it and you would find it. He spent one day and photographed something in his house, and it was a detailed shot showing his housing environment. He shot moldy bread. He shot raindrops on the window. He shot, crinkled tinfoil. And it's really interesting to see that you can be really creative and never leave your home. So I would challenge everybody to not get so caught into it's COVID, we can't go out, we can't mingle, I can't go out and take these group photos, because there's a lot of photography out there. So again, it was, as always, I'm always blown away by the work. You guys do an amazing job. I love to see all the exploration from the students. I love to see photos from all over the world that we see in the adult work. So it was tough. It was tough. So we're going to kick off with the student, and Mike Sanders is going to talk to you for a bit now. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today to look at this fantastic body of work. My name is Michael Sanders, and I'm a professor and department chair of electronic media at the University of Cincinnati's Blue Ash campus. And I teach photography, video, and film studies at UC Blue Ash. And I'm delighted to see the output of particularly high school photographers in this particular competition. Just incredibly wide array of subject matter. People were actively finding things to look at, as Liz was just talking about. It's interesting that I do very similar exercises in some of my student seminars that I do, where I have people confine themselves to their bathroom for an hour and come out with 10 photographs, or take 10 steps from their front door and photograph for 20 minutes there. These are the kinds of things that help you develop your vision, because there are things to see everywhere, and photography is about seeing what the light lands on. So we're delighted to see the selection, the variety, the technical accomplishment that these photographs represent. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the first three selections from the student exhibition. And this first work here is by Alex Truby. This abstract black and white photograph titled Morning. Alex is a student at Sycamore High School, and her image is a really fine example of photographic abstraction. It's especially evocative of the spiritual and philosophical approach to abstraction that was championed by the photographer named Minor White early in the 20th century. Photographed in really strong side light, the bifurcated image with wooden texture above an expanse of black at the bottom takes on a vaguely mysterious and symbolic quality that is suggestive and open to interpretation. And we really congratulate Alex on this fine work. And is Alex on the call? Okay. The next piece that I'd like to talk a little bit about is the second selection from the student competition by Grace Larrick, called Lost. This contemporary street portrait is a sensitive and technically refined portrait of a man in direct interaction and communication with the photographer. It's not a sort of grab shot or sneaking up on anybody. It's a communication. It's an interaction between the photographer and the subject. And as he looks impassively but determinedly into the camera, we can't help but imagining the subtle swirling textures in the pastel colored wall behind him and the active canvas in his mind that this suggests. We want to congratulate Grace, a Sycamore High School student, for this really well executed portrait image. The last piece I'm going to talk about right now is a piece by Gabrielle Niederhausen. This is an atmospheric and mysteriously evocative image. And you can see it's presented in a quite diminutive format. It's called The Waiting Game, and the use of limited depth of field is exceptionally well done to give this photograph a deep sense of ambiguity and nervous energy, and it operates on the very edge of our visual perception. The presentation of the image, as I mentioned in this small format, I think also helps enhance its ability to communicate like an artifact of some sort of evidence that becomes difficult to interpret. So we want to congratulate Gabrielle of Roger Bacon High School for this interesting accomplishment. And I think Gabrielle is with us, yes? And I'm wondering if Gabrielle can give us some insights into her thinking about the photograph as she made it. Perhaps Gabrielle is out photographing again already. Well, I'm sorry that we didn't get a chance to interact, but congratulations to all three of these photographers from the student selections.
Hello again. So I have the next one. I love this photograph. This is by Abby Schneider. She's a Roger Bacon student. It says, this photo connects and discusses the heartbreaking conditions of children stuck in abusive households. And when I first looked at this, I mean, I knew right away it was going to be one of our winners. It's so striking. It's a strong black and white image. I think if she didn't have the catchlight in the eye, it wouldn't have had as much dramatic effect. I love the bangs. I mean, I just love like the rule of thirds. I mean, I think everything works in this, and you just kind of want to stare at it. It's such a striking image. So congratulations to Abby. Well done. The next one is Press On. I think we've all been there. This is Mitchell Kessler. He is a, I lost the student. I'm not sure which school he is from. Oh, Lakota. He's from Lakota West, I believe. And this is another one that I love the detail on the iron. It really kind of just draws your eye in. I like the fact that he cut the head off, because your eye doesn't really want to go there. Your eye wants to go to the iron. So I think it was well executed, had strong composition. The steam just adds that layer. So nicely done, Mitchell. And the last one is by Sasa Ortez, and she is a Roger Bacon student. And this was entitled Lola the Libra. And as a photojournalist, we do portraits all the time. And I would say the hardest thing is when you walk in and someone says, what do you want me to do? And you're like, I don't know what I want you to do. Let me think about it for a minute. This is kind of just a straight on in your face. And it's so striking. And I think that there's so much there. It's just, I mean, it's strong in its simplicity. That's the, it just kind of draws your eye in. So I thought it was really well executed, a very strong image. So congratulations to Sasa.
Hello, everyone. I'm Emily Bauman. I am the curatorial assistant for photography at the Cincinnati Art Museum. It is my third year this year serving as a judge in this competition, and it has been an absolute pleasure every time. It is such a treat to get to look at your creative work, and really an extra treat to get to linger with it as we come together as judges to choose the awardees. So I'm going to continue to talk about student awardees, and I would first like to talk about this photograph by Grace Metz, who is a student at Roger Bacon High School. It is titled Her Landscape. And I really do love the play on the human figure as landscape here. The light and the curves are absolutely beautiful, and the details really draw me in. Congratulations, Grace. I will talk next about this photograph titled Home to Many. It is by Ariel Miller, who attends SCPA. And with this, for me, it's all about the color and the movement. I really like the way that my eyes are drawn around the composition, and the texture is a delight. This is quite a nice one. I will mention that as we came together among the judges, I'll only speak for me. I had a moment where I thought, ooh, is this the orientation? And I think that speaks to the types of decisions that you can make as a photographer. I will also mention, over the years that I have looked at these photographs, I do appreciate if it is something ambiguous when the artist puts an arrow on the back that says, ooh, this one is up, because it is a choice. In any case, again, congratulations to Ariel, this is lovely. And finally, I would like to talk about, this is our 9th among the student winners. This is by Martin Phillip, who attends Lakota West High School. It's titled Not Alone. And I think this is a delightful portrait. I love the unexpected perspective that we have here as we're looking here to see his face sort of back behind the feet. The use of light here is lovely. Really well done. Congratulations, Martin.
Okay, now we're starting on the adults. And I want to ask everybody, I'll ask you what high school you went to, but that's just, that's just Cincinnati. Okay, the first one is by Karen Lewis Dalton, entitled My Eloise, which is just, I just love this photo. It's sweet. I love the kind of muted colors. I love the fact that you have the reflection, that the colors kind of all just get kind of blended together, but the flowers really pop. And it's just a sweet moment. The child isn't looking right at the camera. It's off to the side, and it's just well done. It's just really, really nice. And the next one is Cleanse the Soul, if I'm doing that right, by Emily Hertline. And this was just a fun photo. And here's my challenge to Emily. If this is your child, take that photo every year. Take her to that laundromat. I'm assuming that's a laundromat. Put her there and take it every single year and watch her grow and become bigger than the washing machines. I love the pop of the yellow on the shoes. And I like the fact that she's not looking at the camera. And it's well done, well executed. It's a nice composition, but take this photo every year. The next one is Fred Hauser, and this is titled Milky Water Fishing Bear. And this was just a well executed photo. It's obvious on a slow shutter because you've got the water all blurred, and but the bear is sharp. So that bear had to have just been standing there really still, and enough time for you to make that image, because otherwise that bear would have been blurred too. And Fred is here. Okay. So is he making a comment? No. Oh, hey, Fred. Can you hear me?
Yes, Liz, I can hear you.
Oh, great. Well, congratulations. I love this photo. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, this shot was taken at Brooks Fall in Alaska in Katmai, which is the famous place everybody goes to shoot bears because you can stand all day on the deck there looking at the bears. But what I wanted to do was catch something different with this one, because typically you're taking a fast exposure to get very sharp everything. But I knew that I could, since I was all there all day, I thought I would take an artistic version with the milky water, go for a quarter to maybe a third of a second. But the challenge was the bear couldn't move.
Right. Yes.
So I took enough of them so I got one where the water was milky, but the bear was still enough that I got the shot.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's wonderful. You can just, in your mind, you see that fish jumping up.
Well, I took many shots with the fish coming up, but then the fish would be blurry.
Right. Damn fish. Why can't he stand still too? Well, nicely done. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Liz. Bye-bye.
Okay, and the last one is Jody Kessler, and this is entitled Vintage. I really like the lighting in this photo. I like the color. I like, again, it's this simplicity. It's a nice photo that would have hung in a farmhouse. And I think that Jody is with us. Hey, Jody, can you talk a little bit about the photo? Jody.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I have a friend and we go on walks in different areas of Cincinnati. And in this part of town, the houses were very colorful and I started taking pictures of doors. So this is one of the door pictures I took on one of our walks.
It's really nicely done. I'm just glad that no one called the cops on you because you were pointing your camera out there.
Yes. We thought about that as I was doing it.
Been there, done that. But no, it's really nicely done. I really like this photo a lot. So congratulations. And who is up? And Emily is next with her list.
I'm sorry to pause the works and be slow coming up. I was having such a lovely time listening to the chat. So great. Okay, next among the adult winners, we have this photograph by Eric Hatch titled Refuge. And I hear that Eric is with us on the call. For me, there are two things happening here, and I love that they're both happening at the same time. I just really like the softness that the abstraction here creates, but then against that fine detail that we can see in the bark and in the tree branches and the fine little twigs. Eric, would you like to talk to us about this?
Yeah, sure. This is one of a series of shots of similar nature that I took. What I like about this particular one is the small glowing light of shelter in this storm down at the right corner.
Right down here.
Yeah, and to me that humanizes the photo. The technique on it, we had this is shot from my deck, and there's you can't see it, it's way out of frame, 300 feet away is a post light, putting 60 watts of light out, and that's not much, but it was enough to really light up the tree. So what I did was I popped a rear curtain flash to freeze the snowflakes, and that's the result.
This is an absolute delight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking with us. Okay, I would like to talk next about this photograph titled Street Jammin'. It is by Karen Ashcraft. And what I like here is that this is a wonderful street photograph. I like the different levels that you see with the musicians who are standing and then kneeling, and then working with that is that angle of the street cutting back. I like to look at this. So that's a job well done. Is Karen on the call? No, it doesn't look like we have Karen. Congratulations on this. And finally, I would like to talk about this work by Candace Cook. It is titled Trainwreck. And for me here, the color is what drew me in. I like these really soft, silvery lavenders and greens and whites. As I'm drawn into looking at those colors, then I can take in the stillness of this scene and the subject matter, which is a train wreck, which runs a little bit counter to this really soft, quiet kind of moment. Is Candace with us on the call? No. All right, congratulations on this, Candace. Thank you.
I'm here to discuss the last couple of the submissions in our adult competition that the judges selected. And this first one is very reminiscent of one of the master photographers of the Old West, Edwin Curtis, who was very well known for doing images of Native Americans and frontiersmen in the late 1890s and early 1900s. And this sort of formal portrait is called Saddle Blanket by Tim Needham. And it's simultaneously suggestive of a sense of the lost great American West, and at the same time, sort of a conscious resurrection of vintage photographic approach and technique. And so I think it's a real interesting interaction of the extreme detail of the textures and the saddle blanket, the beard, the interesting variations of tone in the background, and the sort of staring into the unknown vista that the subject of the photograph is engaged in. So it makes it a very successful work, both aesthetically as well as on the technical levels. And I understand that Tim is with us, and I'm real curious to see if Tim can make some comments for us about sort of the technique and materials on which this photograph is printed.
Well, he's first, he's a real cowboy. That's John Wayne Hayes. He's a real cowboy. He lives in Santa Fe, and he's a real deal. It was a one light, natural light shot. That is a formal presentation that I did on that. You know, I've shot him numerous times, and you know, he's a great. If you can get him, he's a great guy. Since I've shot him, a couple other people have shot him. I shot him, you know, I've used him as a model. He's a good guy. And that is a horse blanket. I initially thought I thought it was an Indian blanket, and I had to track somebody down, somebody who knows a lot more about horses, informed me that, Tim, that's a horse blanket that he had on that day. It was cold. And so I don't know what else I can tell you about it.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you printed the photograph, how you had that done?
Well, that was done. I had I didn't do that myself. I had that done by I do print here, but I had that done by Bay Photo, and then they did a formal a matte coat on it because I don't want it damaged when I put it out on somewhere. So it's
well, it's really nicely presented, and
yeah, that
the
is.
scale is also very appropriate for the subject matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to do 1x1s or what you would call
Very
square.
nicely done job. So congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And the last one in our judges selection, before we get to the top prize winners, is this interesting work. It's by Abigail Mertz, and it's called Springboard. And this illustrates the magical ability of photography to freeze motion into a kind of visual poetry, poetry of shapes and textures. And the subject and ground are sort of oscillating in a full display of the way that images of real life can become graphic. I think it also suggests the mysterious motion of levitation and the static suspension of the guy in this blue sky, sort of turning the flux of life into the formal graphic image that this photograph results in. Is Abigail on the line with us?
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Abby. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about being able to get this decisive moment shot.
So this is that's my boyfriend in the picture, my boyfriend Brennan. And we were at his uncle's farmhouse, and he has a pond and a diving board. So I was under him, and I had him jump off of the high board and got that picture on my iPhone.
Great. So this is an iPhone photo. So
Yes.
that technology is being turned to lots of subject matter. And that was one of the questions that we were discussing before we went on the air today. We were wondering how many of these images were actually made with a portable device as opposed to a traditional camera. So thank you for sharing that information with us, and congratulations on a very arresting photograph.
Thanks.
Congratulations to all of our winners so far. We have 2 more awards to present, our Best in Show for both the student and for the adult category. And I'm very pleased to be able to announce that we're naming each of these awards this year and hopefully for the future for 2 amazing members of our Arts Commission team. First, the Student Award, and this one is being named after Barbara Lindsay. Barbara Lindsay passed away on January 12th. She was a longtime educator who taught language arts and social studies for 20 years for 6th graders before retiring and then becoming a substitute teacher here at Montgomery Elementary School. We miss Barbara so much. At the time of her passing, she was the vice chair of our commission and loved this event. So it is my honor to name the Best in Show Student Award for Barbara Lindsay, which will be presented now by Emma.
Thank you. This is such a pleasure, and I'm going to show this beautiful ribbon that will come with your award. I am delighted to announce that we have selected Cara Lally's photograph, Veiled in Light. Cara is a student at Roger Bacon High School, and this is one that caught all 3 of our attention very quickly. I, as the other judges, see a lot of photographs, and I'm really excited when there is a photograph that makes me want to look again and to look longer. And this is really doing that work. If you at home haven't gotten to see the exhibition of photographs, you might not be able to see on your screen. There are 3 faces here veiled in this sheer gossamer netting, and you have the sense that it almost looks like a mountainous landscape, but there are also quiet faces hidden beneath. It's an absolute delight, and I'm very pleased to announce this is our choice for Student Best in Show.
Thank you, Emily. And now for our adult winner for Best of Show, which, as Mayor Dubois announced earlier, is being named after former council member, Arts Commission liaison, and Montgomery Mayor Jerry Harbison. And now the Jerry Harbison Best of Show Adult Award. Professor Sanders.
Again, here's the beautiful Blue Ribbon Award that will accompany the return of the photograph to the winning photographer. And I am pleased to announce that this stunning image by Rick Lingo called Regression is the winner in the adult category. And again, this was one that we all sort of were instinctively drawn to because of its incredible sense of motion. It's a photograph that suggests that matter is not stable, but is in fact energy. And this vortex that pulls you into the center is you're drawn in by these overlapping shapes, and it's materializing into pure energy. And so this vibrant color feast of texture, and it implies motion, and it's beautifully executed both technically and aesthetically. And it's just really a wonder to behold. And so we want to congratulate Rick. Is he on the line with us? Well, we want to congratulate him and appreciate the opportunity this year to be able to share our thoughts with you about these photographs. Thank you.
And I want to thank all three of our judges for doing such an amazing job. There was so much amazing work that was shared with us this year that I don't know how they picked. I'm glad I didn't have to pick, but you can tell they picked some amazing works of art. And thank you to all of you. This is a year that I think we all needed this event and needed art in our lives. The stories that you told, the work that you shared, the conversations we shared live yesterday when you came and experienced the work live was fantastic. And I love the conversations today, learning about the stories behind these incredible works of art. So thank you. We will be back again next year we've been doing this since 1987. So we're excited to keep going on as the area's largest photo competition. Again, thanks to all of our judges. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to the city of Montgomery. Have a great rest of your weekend.